Hey everyone, welcome back to the Daily Tri. My name's Travis, and today I really feel out of my element as I'm lucky to have one of the US's best ever Olympic distance triathletes. He took home silver at the Olympic Games in Tokyo and is one of, if not the fastest runners in triathlon with a 102 half marathon PB. And he's actually my dark horse to win the Olympics in Paris. So Morgan has battled with a lot though in his triathlon career so far, and without even speaking to him, it seemed like a tough journey, and I can't wait to dive into it a little bit more. If he can catch a break for just a bit in the sport, I think he'd be up there with the greats that have ever done it. So I really, really think you're gonna love this episode, and I hope you listen to it all the way through. So thank you so much, Morgan, for joining me. Can't wait to ask you some questions.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and thanks for the nice words.
No problem. You deserve it, man. So I haven't heard you for a while on any podcasts or interviews, and I'm sure you've just been training hard and getting ready for the season. But I want you to start with your background, how you got into the sport really quick, and yeah, we'll just go from there.
Sure. My background is growing up swimming on the club team in New Jersey. I swam in high school for 2 years on the high school team, and I started running also in middle school, just on the cross country team. Just three months of the year, and then high school was kind of cross country and outdoor track, so maybe a few more, and then I just kind of slowly transferred from swimming into running as I got better at running than I was at swimming as I went through high school. And then I went to Colorado, CU Boulder. I ran there. Pretty successful career, but maybe not like I was All American a bunch of times and finished. I think my best finish at NCAA's was fifth. So I was solid, but I wasn't getting big contracts or out of college for running, and probably wasn't on track to make an Olympic team for running. So for me, my goal was always to try to make the Olympics as an athlete, being a swimmer and runner growing up. So I thought maybe let me try to do triathlon. I had the swimming growing up, I had the running, and yeah, I started in 2018 was my first year in the sport. Yeah, USA Triathlon kind of helped me transfer over to the sport, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot more to tell, but that's kind of the brief overview.
And you hit the ground running pretty quickly, and you got a lot of success. Did that immediately like lock in? I want to do this. I want to go to the Olympics. Or how did your confidence in the sport progress?
Yeah, so my first year in 2018, my first result was a seventh in a World Cup, and then I got the next week I got 14th, and I thought that was a really bad race. Which if 14th in a World Cup, it's not amazing, but for your second triathlon, or well, second draft legal race, it was pretty good for a World Cup. And then I got sixth in a World Cup, and then I got 14th in a WTS. So my first four races were really, really solid for someone who didn't really have any background in the sport. And yeah, I mean, I think from that point forward, it was just trying to make the Olympics in 2020. Um, I do think I had that kind of the mindset to make the team even before I had those results. And, I've always kind of aimed to be like the best, a high achiever, whether I'm, in sports or outside sports. I always, for better, for worse, I put a lot of pressure on myself and, aim really high. So yeah, I mean, those results kind of confirmed what I believed, and yeah, here we are.
Yeah, that's insane. And then take us through the Olympics 2021 leading up into it. You got two great results at Yokohama and Leeds. Things looked really on track for you. And then, yeah, take us through the Olympics.
Yeah, so the Olympic. Well, everyone obviously dealt with COVID, so the Olympics were postponed a year, and yeah, the Olympic year was actually really hard for me. My older brother passed away like 10 weeks before the qualification in Yokohama, which was really hard. I was training decently because that was in March, actually March 1st. So I was training solid. I was in good shape, but then that happened, and I kind of like took a month off from like structured training, or I'd say really training in general. I mean, yeah, I went out and biked and ran for just to get outside type thing. But yeah, I kind of took a month off and spent time with family. And yeah, so sorry to bring the podcast down.
Oh.
But it's that was a big thing that happened. And I really do think that played a role in my Olympics because, yeah, I mean, I that happened, and I was like, I kind of made it my mission for me and for my family to qualify for the Olympics. And, I accomplished that at Yokohama. I got third there, and I trained really, I didn't even go crazy. I was really dedicated for those 6 weeks in between coming back to Colorado and racing, really dedicated. Just kind of a quiet lifestyle. Just kind of spent a lot of time with just my girlfriend. Just didn't really see many people, but I think, looking back, that might have helped me just like block out all the other noise. And I was able to get third there and qualify, and then follow up that with Leeds 2 weeks later. And all of a sudden I was like a podium contender for the Olympics.
Yeah.
And I think that was a lot for me. I think that'd be a lot for anyone, but especially with dealing with my older brother, obviously I still deal with that today, but that was still so fresh. And I just, I made a lot of mistakes between that Leeds race and the Olympics. I was doing too much training, too much outside stuff. I just was asking too much of myself, and I got sick, 10 days before the Olympics. I got cold, and I mean, I was feeling a little bit better, but by the time I was all, that whole race week, I felt, I do a workout, not right now, but I used to do it like 2 mile. It'd be kind of my pre-race workout was like a 2 mile tempo run. I probably run it a little faster than tempo pace. And normally I go like 9:20, something, like pretty fast, but not like pretty controlled, like maybe race pace. And I think I hit it in like 9:50, and it was like really hard. And I was just like, that was like the week of the race. And I was like, but you try to fool yourself into thinking things are going to go okay. But yeah, I mean, on race day, I just, I didn't have it. Luckily we had the relay a week later, and I think that was, adequate time for me to kind of recover. And I had I think I was the second fastest split overall, and we got silver in the relay. And yeah, so I mean, I kind of just to give the individual, like I was really struggling on the bike, and I kind of was like, I lost track of, like I missed, I couldn't recover. Anyone who's done like a draft legal race or a crit, like it's kind of all about like going hard, recovering. And I just, my heart rate would not come down. I couldn't recover. And I just kind of packed it in. I wanted to finish at the Olympics. I think anyone can understand that, but I just wanted to finish, and I knew the relay, we had a good chance to medal. We had a really strong team, and yeah, I think I was able to come back strong. And I don't think that was, I didn't have the best race ever for me or for like anyone, but I had a really strong performance in that relay. I mean, obviously the team set me up really well, and yeah, we came home with a silver medal. So, starting the sport in 2018, 3 years later, I have a silver medal. Like, that's pretty good. When you look back at it, obviously in the moment, maybe I was upset about the individual race, but yeah, I think in the grand scheme of things, it was nice.
That's awesome. And it looks like hopefully you'll get another shot next year to do that individual again. But how do you feel about the relay? I want to ask you a little bit more about that. Like, is defending that medal or going for the gold, is that a big priority for you as well with the team?
Yeah. I mean, of course I need to qualify. Of course the relay order is different now. It's a male, female. Of course there's lots of good teams, and I don't think we haven't had a great run the last year in the relay. I haven't raced a lot, and Kevin hasn't raced a lot, and Taylor Nibb's been banged up, and KD had all four of the people on that relay are dealing with something. KD had a child, and so I mean, I think we have a strong potential team. There's no denying that. I just think we need to get our stuff in order. Starting with myself. I mean, I can't ask everyone else to do that. I need to do it myself first. So I got a long way to go, but I hope I'm on the right path. And yeah.
Right on. I wanted to ask you because on the women's side as well, on that, it seems so hard to qualify, and with Gwen and Katie trying to make the team as well.
Yeah,
On the
yeah,
men's
it's
side,
crazy.
is it pretty tough as well? And is that something on your mind?
Oh yeah, it's on my mind always. For to be honest, I know if I can do, I know I have the ability to qualify. I've podiumed 3 times in a WTS now. Was part of that Olympic relay. Um, I've gotten a bunch of top tens in WTS. I feel like I have the ability. So I'm not. It's not really. I'm not really comparing myself to other people. I'm really just trying to focus on myself, uh, and be the best I can be, and then let the chips fall as they may.
Right on. So then on the Olympics for next year and what you've seen so far, well, I'm gonna ask you first of all about this season and how it's gone. We've seen from your social media and like
Yeah,
Yokohama didn't go so well, and then Cagliari as well, and of course Abu Dhabi, which you didn't get a start. What's been going
yeah,
on there? Give us some insights.
yeah. I mean, it's been a little bit of bad luck,
Okay.
and a little bit of poor decision making on my point. Well, just to get into it, Abu Dhabi was March. I got like I don't know, was it 3 weeks, 2 weeks before I got in a bike crash, which sucked. I mean, and then so I was in Tucson training. I got in a bike crash and I wanted to go back home to because my body was kind of messed up, just from the crash. I want to see my PTs there that I normally see, and so that was a lot of stress dealing with that bike crash. And then I actually got sick in Abu Dhabi, like whether it was that travel or whatever, it's hard, and I only bring up the bike crash because I think like that stress element
Mm.
really plays a role. And yeah, I mean, that bike crash, I could have been avoided, but it was like a group ride and some guy kind of came in front of me. So wasn't totally my fault, but of course I can always, ride smarter. So
Mm.
that was some bad luck. Yokohama, yeah, I mean, I got COVID. Actually, just to, I got sick in Abu Dhabi, not COVID. Come back home, feel okay for a few days, jet lag, coming off the sickness, but I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel better. Half a week later, I get COVID. So that was some more bad luck. So that's like a week out. Luckily, we had a pretty long time between that and our next race, Yokohama. And I actually trained really well. I mean, I'll say this, like my training has been really good this year.
Mm.
I just keep getting shit luck going into these races. And yeah, I would say like January and February were like, I was in crazy shape, and not something like I was pushing really hard and training, and I wasn't like max, but just for the time of the year, I
Mm.
was just like really happy with where I'm at. All three, I remember I did I wasn't really pushing training that hard, and then I did this bike race. It was a gravel race. It was like 50K, and like all my power numbers were like really good. Some really good run workouts, and my swimming seemed to have taken a jump. So I was just like really stoked where I was at, and then yeah, that bike crash happened, and yeah, I mean, I started, I had a pretty good training between that COVID and Yokohama, but then 2 weeks before that, I was doing a track workout, and I pulled my hamstring or tweaked it, and yeah, that was a
Mm.
bummer. I mean, I put that one more on myself. I was probably trying to run a little bit too fast. It was just some 200s, and like I said, I've been feeling great. So I'm
Mm.
running these 200s faster than I have in years, and yeah, I like pulled my hamstring, and that was 2 weeks before Yokohama, and I go to Yokohama, and it's I don't run for a week, and then I travel to Yokohama, and if things feel fine, but I just think you know the body compensates, and
Mm.
it was also, I don't know if you watched the race, it was
Yeah.
wet and cold, and the hard bike is tense on the bike because it was slippery, and I just think it was just like too much. Like my body, basically, I got off, and my lower back and like posterior chain just was like messed up, and I went out feeling comfortable, feeling good, and it really got tighter. It was getting worse, so I kind of slowed down, hoping it would loosen up, but it really didn't. So then yeah, I kind of stretched I stopped and stretched, and I still finished. And then, so honestly, in Italy, I was still dealing with that. That's 2 weeks later. It still was kind of there, but I actually got an infection on my face, which is crazy. I can send you a picture if you want. So that was like, it's like, it was crazy. Like, because I trained pretty well between those 2 races in Italy. My back was still a little bit tight, but I was trying to do what I could, doing what I can. But I just like, one day I just woke up and I thought it was like a pimple, but it was just this crazy infection. And I'm honestly still dealing with it now. Like, that's why I'm in Austin. I'm trying to get it. My body's still like kind of messed up. So yeah, it's been kind of bad luck more than anything this year. Like I said, I've been training really well, and I know I have good races in me, but it is what it is, man. It's just my path, I got really upset like 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, just because this infection, like, it's just really hard on my body, and it's really hard. This is like a really bad workout, and I was just like, it was like a tough day. I've had some bad luck the last year or two. But I was like, I just was like, this is my path. And yeah, I mean, there's no, it's easy to have these goals and predict kind of where you want to be, but that's not where I am right now. But I'm still gonna keep going and try to qualify for the Olympics next year. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know back in 2022, I believe it was, or 2021, you went to Austin before to find a doctor who's going to heal your Achilles, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing the same guy.
Cool.
He's a pretty smart guy. So yeah, that's why I'm here. Because like, this, like I said, this infection on my face, like I thought it was getting better, and I think it is, but I think it's just lingering in my body. And like, what he's saying is basically like, it's just, it's using up all the oxygen. So you can imagine when you're trying to go hard, your body needs oxygen, but when there's something else in your body using it, like you just can't. So he's just helping me out so yeah, I mean, I just got here last night, so hopefully that helps, and hopefully I'm back to my best self soon.
Heck yeah. Montreal still on the cards though? It's coming up soon. Okay.
No, I dropped out. Yeah, unfortunately, it sucks. I mean, my points suck right now. It's gonna be kind of a tough road to get back. Well, I just need a good race or two, but it just wasn't. I just couldn't force it again,
Yeah.
It just, like, I knew I wasn't gonna have a good race, and it's just like this past Tuesday I had tried to train hard again, just like 2 days ago, and I was like, I can't even, like, 300 watts on the bike felt really hard, and like, that shouldn't be that hard. And I was just like, yeah, something's still wrong with me. So that's when I actually decided to come down to Austin and decided to not do Montreal. Like, it's rough, but that's where I'm at. I can't change. I know it's not me. It's not me. So.
Totally makes sense. Well, this episode will be coming out just before the race, so I'm not going to give away any spoilers if you haven't put it out yet. But
no, I personally don't care.
Okay, fair. I did want to ask you on that, and maybe a harder question to ask considering where you're at, but who do you think for that race is going to be pretty good? And then going from there, who are you thinking about for the Olympics? Do you ever compare yourself? I know you said earlier that you're mainly focused on what you're doing, but obviously you must think about kind of what the times people are doing and running, like Alex and Hayden right now. Do you ever think about that?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's hard not to. And, I really have a lot of respect for those guys, Hayden and Alex. And then I think there's lots of good guys. Leo, like, honestly, just the French guys. Yeah, like, I mean, I think Christian will be back strong. I mean, he's doing better than I thought he might. There's so many good guys. The list goes on and on. Obviously, Alex and Hayden are two of the best in this sport right now. But I actually have a story to tell about that, and that was so Abu Dhabi last year. I finished second, and I outran those guys by a good amount, and just so that I take a lot from that race. Just I know I can compete with them, and Leo obviously beat me, but he had a gap off the bike, so it was like 2 weeks before the race, or maybe three. And I was doing a workout, and there's this a 6 mile tempo run, followed by 1 mile at like 6:30, like kind of not slow, but like floating, and then a mile hard. And so it was like a long run workout, and I was just like, I remember thinking in the workout, like, okay, and mind you, I was coming off an injury, so I hadn't had the longest training block, especially for running. And I was just like, okay, like, I don't feel amazing, and I probably won't beat those guys. Like, I probably won't beat Alex. I probably won't beat Hayden in the run, but that's okay. I just need to worry about myself, and if I get top 10, that's great, or whatever. If I get, maybe I'm the next fastest guy, whatever. Like, I just kind of like had that thought, and I just said, like, whatever, like, I can't worry about them. So that's kind of it. I'm trying to adopt, and then I outran them. So the point is, like, you can overthink and get intimidated by these guys and their times, and they're incredible athletes, and they're really, really good. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But for me, it's just like, the more you think about it, you don't want to get dragged down by that. And you don't know what they're doing. You don't know what they're dealing with. I mean, no, I haven't said anything about this infection on my face, but like, I'm dealing with it, and that it sucks for me. But maybe they're dealing with something, or maybe they're having the perfect training and they have bad luck. Everyone has bad luck. So I don't know. I'm trying not to worry about other people. I'm just trying to quiet the mind in that point of view. I mean, I'll even bring up, like someone like Taylor Knibb, who's a woman that I don't race, but some of the stuff she does is intimidating to me, and it gets in my head. Like, these crazy, she's doing Boulder 70.3 and winning by 8 minutes, and she's going to do US Cycling Nationals next week. And it's just like, it's just intimidating, man. Like, she's not even racing me, but it's just like, she's just, and I know her, like, we're friends, but it's just intimidating. The same thing with Alex and Hayden. Like, the stuff they're doing is intimidating, but I try not, like, that. I'm just trying to like quiet that part of my brain right now. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
no, it definitely does. Thank you for that insight. And that's something I've always thought about short course, and why I think it's so fascinating is because it all really does come down to that race, that one day, and everybody's for that Olympics or the grand final. And literally, like, as Leo showed, like, anything can happen. Like, he hit the jackpot for winning the World Series.
So and I mean, I can only really focus on being the best version of myself. And I think I was in a really good place going into Yokohama before I pulled my hamstring. So the point is, like, you can be in a really good place and you still don't get to show that. And that doesn't mean I didn't do all that great training for the first half of the year. It's just I didn't show it, and that's a bummer. It's a bummer for points and prize money and all that, but that doesn't mean it's not there. So
that's for sure. I can't wait, man. Behind the scenes of that Abu Dhabi race, I was up at like 3:30 in the morning, and I was cheering for you like mad, because it was just unexpected, because you'd had such a hard year up until that point. And so I don't know, when I saw you coming through everybody and running so well, I was cheering for you like crazy. So that was
thanks.
great.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yes. Okay, so some quicker questions, because I know we're probably running short on time here. But do you have a dark horse for the Olympics that you don't think people are talking about enough?
For men?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. It's really hard to say. Like, I think there's some really talented athletes. That guy from Brazil, Messias, is really a good runner, and he seems to be improving. The Moroccan guy, Jawad, definitely a dark. I mean, maybe these guys can win, but definitely in terms of like grabbing a medal, like these are types of guys that could definitely grab a medal. Like Vasco, but he's obviously having an incredible year. So I mean, I don't know if he's a dark horse, but like, I think Vince will come back strong, and I think he'll have like I think people are kind of counting him out, but I just don't think that's the case. I think he'll be really strong, and he'll have the French crowd behind him. I mean, there's lots of other ones, but no, there's so many guys I respect. I don't want to leave anyone off, but yeah, kind of darker horses,
Fair.
I guess. Those are a few.
Right on. Are we going to see you take on anything else this year outside of WTCS? Maybe Super League or dip your hand into a long course race? I know I've got a lot of long course listeners.
Probably not.
Okay.
I was thinking about it, but just the way the first half of the year's been, I'm probably gonna have to chase some points in the fall. So, and there's just not a lot of opportunity for I'll do World Cups and maybe the Pan American Games. And maybe, I don't know. To be honest, I really wanted to run a half marathon in the fall. Really try to attack a fast race, but just the way my points and things are shaking out, like it's probably not going to happen till next, after the Olympics. Maybe I'll do it. So that's a bummer. And then like a long course race, I don't know. I don't even have a TT bike, and it's just I think it's a harder transition than people think. Like, I think if you train for it and you're fully dedicated, it's completely doable. But I just want to focus on what I'm trying to be good at, I guess.
That's fair. Okay. What would you recommend for someone who's young, who's watching this right now? He's maybe like 12, 13 years old, has Olympic dreams. What would you say to them?
For triathlon?
Yeah.
If you want to, I'd say like the number one thing is focus on your skills, bike skills, technique in the pool, running technique. I would say focus on your speed. Like all three again, like top end speed swimming, top end speed running, top end speed, top end power and technique biking. And then I would say like 12 or 13, like, yeah, I would say like have fun. If you're not, I think that's the number one thing for Olympic, or honestly any triathlete that's trying to be at the high level. Like, I think you have to really love the training and love the grind and all those cliche things. But I do think that's really important. So, if you're not having fun, don't do it. I don't know. Like, yeah. Unfortunately, like if your goal is to make the Olympics, but you're not enjoying it at that age, like find something else to maybe try to make the Olympics in, or whatever the equivalent of that is in your field.
Sounds like a long road to get to the Olympics, and
yeah,
having fun to stay on that road.
Yeah, and not every day needs to be not every day. You don't need to be like smiling la-di-da every bike ride, every run, but I think you have to like love it. You love your parents, but you still like fight with them and stuff like that. So I think it's kind of the same.
For sure. All right. Hot question. I'll throw it in and then we'll do some quick rapid fire ones. I'll let you go.
Okay.
If you could fix one thing in short course triathlon, what would it be? And that's based off of, I've heard a couple of people saying, Hayden Wild, for example, on his podcast that he's doing, saying that short course isn't really in a good spot right now. So is there something that you could fix about it that would make it a little bit better?
I think that like the racing schedule could be a lot better. It's just gnarly the amount of travel we have to do, and I think I think they could do like be a little bit more strategic. For example, maybe 1 week we race 3 times, like a relay on the first weekend, a sprint on a Wednesday, and an Olympic on a Sunday, and maybe maybe it's all in Europe, or one's in Montreal and one's in Edmonton, or something like that, where it's you go to different places, but I think that, I know it's kind of a far-fetched idea, but I just and then we go away for a month, train, come back, as opposed to 2 weeks in Italy, 2 weeks in Japan, 2 weeks in Montreal, 2 weeks later in Hamburg. It doesn't make for like the highest level of performance. Yeah, I think that's one thing that could help. I'm sure there's other things.
It feels like it's a really good scenario for you guys all to get sick or get hurt or not recover.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's just gonna keep like what makes the best races is having the best athletes. And
totally.
When you're like, for example, I got this infection and I'm not racing in Montreal, that's not good. Or like maybe you see like Alex Yeadon go to Yokohama, you know, that's not good because it's so far away from where he lives. And yeah, so it's just, there's just certain, yeah, I think there's lots of benefits to the kind of less travel, racing closer together. You know, you don't even need to do three. You could just do a sprint one weekend and Olympic the next, or like sprint relay one weekend and then Olympic a week later, you know, like they kind of do that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, rapid fire questions. Are you late or are you early?
Um, I'm usually early. However, I like to train kind of late. So both.
All right. If you were to be the best in the sport, you're really good at running. You're up there being the best. So if you could now be the best in swimming or the best in biking right now, which one would you choose?
Swimming. Yeah.
All right.
Because then I can always make a lead pack and always run with leaders. Maybe if I did long course, maybe if I was like had long course ambitions, you'd say biking. But yeah,
Fair enough. All right. Horrible chafing or GI issues?
chafing.
Okay. Pasta or pizza before a race?
Pasta.
Same. Okay. If you weren't doing sport, what would it be?
I'm not sure. I was a math and econ major, so I had applied for a few jobs, analytics jobs after college or during college, I guess. So maybe something like that.
Wow.
Maybe something like that.
That's funny you said that because my next one was English or math, so I don't even have to ask that one. What are you terrible at in triathlon outside of the three sports? Like, are you just bad at organization, packing, travel, that kind of thing?
Yeah, just travel. I keep getting sick, so
Okay, last
I'm working
one.
on it.
Okay. Last one. Would you rather Olympic gold, winning it with a sprint finish, or dominating it?
Dominating it.
Love it.
Yeah.